Depending on what background you come from, you might have heard people toss around terms like hydration systems, hydration packs, water bottles, water pouches, water skins, or some other even more obvious. But all of them have one thing in common. They are means to an end, and their end is to prevent your end by dehydration. In this video, we are going to visit the subject of hiking hydration, but in particular, the following 4 subjects. What is considered an appropriate amount per person per day of water, the why hydration is such an important subject, the many ways you can stay hydrated, and how planning can save your skin. But first, let's jump somewhere more comfortable. Okay, here we are. This is a lot better. First things first. This is one of the videos on my Hiking for Newbies series. Feel free to check out the rest of the series, conveniently grouped in a playlist of the same name in the Deep Land Explorer YouTube channel. Also, I hid something in this video. Let me know if you spot it, and be the first one to mention it in the comments. If people like this scavenger game, I might do it a prize contest in the future. Lastly, I have added timestamps to the description of the video to help you find a particular subject within the video upon reviewing. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get to tackle the subject of this video, hydration during hikes. Come with me. Lack of H2O and minerals lost through sweat is something that should be of great concern for anybody outdoors, especially since the human body can only last 3 days without water and up to 3 weeks without food. It is also very important to learn to recognize the signs of dehydration. Here, let me list them for you. The takeaway is that not knowing about proper and timing hydration can lead to dehydration, hydration headaches, overhydration, heat stroke, and many other health problems. Look, I'm no physician, so take my advice as such, friendly advice, and not something I want to be quoted in. But the bottom line is, water is good for you. Dry mouth, very bad. So then let's talk about what I do know from experience. Things like prehydration, geographical location, elevation, weather, how fit you are, the amount of exercise that you perform, dictate how much water you need. And how much water you need might differ greatly from what I need or any other person's need. It really changes person to person. For that reason, that old advice of 64 ounces a day of water per person is no longer really a reliable guideline, especially when you perform any kind of extended exercise, because that amount rapidly escalates to about 1 gallon, which is twice what regular 64 ounces would be. I really recommend that you do some research on your own and that you ask to your doctor about how much water you may need during exercising, considering your age, weight, and physical status. Remember, water is good. Dry mouth, very, very bad, right? What's that? Oh, you have a question about prehydration. Well, it is a made-up word, or at least I think it is. I threw it there to see if anyone noticed, but more than that, I did it to make a point. Hydration is not something that is only important for hikes and the gym. Staying hydrated is a lifestyle that is not exclusive to the in-shape crowd. Even though kudos to you if you are part of that crowd. I myself am working my way back into it. Everything from your skin to your brain to the functioning of your heart is affected by water. Exercise or not, our bodies work better when properly hydrated, and it becomes even more important when we are going to face a physical challenge. In such cases, drinking water right before the event just won't be enough. Furthermore, it is also important not to drink mild diuretics like coffee and tea and soda right before or during a hike. Instead, make sure that as a common rule you drink enough water daily, but especially in the days prior to exercising. I know it's only broad strokes, but I hope this helps you understand the why of hydration. But how about the how? In my day, I've seen many things. People with anything from nothing to drink, others with bottles, and those water bladder or pit backpacks like this one. The latter is my preferred method. Again, I can only teach from my experience, be it previous or experimental, while you watch me fail and learn. While there are way too many types and sizes, I prefer 3. One that lives in my get-home bag. That one alone is heavier than I can carry in a recreational trek and lives in my car until the day I need it arises, at which point I leave behind non-essentials. If you would like a video on it or have any other questions, leave me a comment. The second type is my one-day pack, and the third is one that I keep with me when camping, tucked in a corner in case I want to go on a quick hike. Originally designed for long-distance runners and motorcycle rides, it's compact enough that it's unobstructed. All of them, as far as the hydration bladder goes, work in the same manner. The most important part is to remember that the bladder has to go in before any other gear in the pack. Just remember, dry mouth is bad, very, very bad. It doesn't really matter how you choose to carry your water. What matters is that you do. But that's only part of the how. The other part is just as important and refers to how to hydrate during prolonged exercises. Have you ever seen, or perhaps you were taught to do it yourself, athletes that get a mouthful of water, swatch it in their mouths, and then spit most of it? The key words there are most of. This is done because the body can only absorb so much at once. Water, before it can be absorbed, lands and stays in the stomach, where large amounts of it can incur in at the very least discomfort, if no other problems. For that reason, it's better to take constant sips of water throughout your journey as opposed to lots of it at once during a break. Also, if we put one and one together, I think that we can agree that for that end, it's important to keep the water readily accessible and not hidden in the depths of the backpack's pocket. Finally, in the how topic, is, as mentioned before, not only replenishing water, but salt and other minerals lost with sweat as well. To that end, there are many solutions of which, to your benefit, I have tried some which I can recommend. Budget and convenience, as well as practicality, come into this piece of advice. First, don't let anyone other than a doctor tell you that one of these options, or any you ultimately choose, are not the right one for you. At the end of the day, something as basic as a Gatorade or an energy drink with caffeine can do the trick. Keep in mind though, I don't really recommend caffeinated drinks because there are mild diuretics. And speaking of tricks and tips, a good one is to have a secondary container for these drinks, or water mixed with electrolyte tablets or powders. By not mixing your regular source of water with the enriched drinks, you not only simplify the cleaning process of both containers afterwards, but some of these drinks have a strong tastes that might not be to your liking at all points of the trek. But speaking of other methods of replenishing lost minerals, 2 of the most common ways are adding mineral-rich salt to the water, not just iodized salt, mind you. This can be done by adding a small amount of salt like Himalayan salt or special salt tablets. Keep in mind that doing just this is like drinking seawater as far as flavor goes. Alternatively, and added to the salt water, there are many electrolyte tablets and powders that are formulated specifically with rehydration in mind. I admittedly have only tried a very small amount of the options in the market, landing on and staying with non-tablets for my replenishing needs. These tablets come in tubes that hold about 10 effervescent tablets in varied flavors. Each tablet is meant to be mixed up with at most 16 ounces of water, and the tubes themselves cost about $6 to $8 at the time of filming this video. They are also available in multi-packs that lower the unit price depending on the amount bought. But enough of that. Let's keep this moving and on to our last topic, planning, and how I believe a bit of it can save your life. There's the Murphy's Law approach, a concept which in its simplest form states that if anything can go wrong, it will. With this in mind, the first piece of advice I can give you is test your equipment. Water additives and anything you plan on carrying with you. Don't just buy and hope it will work. Make sure you spend some time testing it and learning how to use it. Read the instructions or ask people like me to further explain how to use it. The second piece of advice is plan ahead. Regardless of if your hike is planned or frugal, you can be ready for it. Having done a bit of research on the area you will be prior to visiting it can go a long way. It's useful to know things like the weather, known trails, natural or man-made water supplies, and points of interest in your chosen path. This way you can potentially plan your hike and how much water will you need, and even how to resupply your stores if the need arises. The third advice is never wing it when it comes to how you source your water. I could do a full video, and perhaps I will in the future, on how to purify water. But how you obtain your water is just as important as anything else in this video. Please keep that in mind. I've seen people be careless on what water they drink in a pinch, and being prepared with a water filter or purification tablets is a great idea that don't add much weight or take too much space in your pack. Keep in mind though, that for every market there are tons of options. When it comes to purification tablets, I can't use the iodine ones due to allergies, so I can't make any recommendations. But that's my personal hurdle, and it might not be yours. If, like me, you have allergies as well, I encourage you to do some research. Don't let that keep you from planning for eventualities. That said, my option for on-the-spot water purifications are Sawyer water filters. I have tried several models, but currently I carry with me in all my packs Sawyer Squeeze. Sawyer claims that one of these filters alone should be able to safely purify up to 60 gallons of water. And for the fourth and last advice for this video, I'll go back to the Murphy's Law, from a different angle though. I know I'm repeating myself, but just like I have repeatedly said, water good, dry mouth very, very, very bad, being prepared for eventualities is prime. At one point or another, through the years of following trends like EDC or prepping for natural disaster, or just gathering and testing outdoor gear, I learned that the Navy SEALs, when preparing for anything, they do so by following a simple principle. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. To the effect of this video, it can translate into redundancy of gear can make the difference between a successful hike and having to struggle or not even being able to finish one. So give some thought to always have a backup, especially for your most vitally needed items: water, shelter, fire, and food. Okay, this has been fun, but I think it's time that we go back to the Explorer headquarters, aka my office. See you there. Well, that pretty much covers this subject to the extent of my knowledge at this point. As I learn more, I'll address it by adding it to the comments or updating the video altogether. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I hope you were able to find my little out-of-place scavenger item. I can't wait to read in the comments what you thought it was. And speaking of comments, you guys already know the whole drill about subscribing and liking and such, so instead I'm going to ask you something different. If you like the tone of my videos, please ask questions in the comments. I'm always looking for themes for my next video. And what can be better than something that I haven't covered, that I can try, learn, and explore, that is suggested by you. Lastly, watch these video options that are also part of my Hiking for Newbies series. Okay, that's it. See you on the next one.